Hi everyone and welcome to the Allplane Podcast, where we talk with the movers and shakers that are redefining the future of commercial aviation. As usual, before we start, let me remind you once more that all previous episodes of this podcast, as well as many other aviation stories, are available on the Allplane website. That's Allplane.tv, Allplane.tv. Today we welcome back here to the podcast Morell Westermann, an electric aircraft pilot, record setter, and more generally, I think we can call him an electric mobility evangelist. When Morell was here in this podcast the previous time with his colleague Malik Aziz, that was back in 2020, he explained how they set an electric flight record by flying all the way across Germany, from the Alps to the North Sea. This time Morell is aiming to set a new record by gathering the largest formation of electric aircraft ever. The plan is to fly from Switzerland across Lake Constance to Friedrichshafen, a city in the south of Germany on the north shore of Lake Constance, to mark the opening of aeroFriedrichshafen, apologies for the pronunciation, which is Europe's largest general aviation show. But besides this remarkable project, I thought this was also the perfect occasion to invite Morell here to the podcast and get his insights about the current state of the electric aircraft industry in Europe and talk about how an increasing number of flight schools and pilots are adopting electric aircraft, and how after the successful certification of the Pipistrel Velis Electric, new models of electric aircraft are coming into the market, and what needs to happen for electric aircraft adoption to accelerate in years to come. So tune in to listen to a conversation with a pilot and visionary, someone that, when it comes to electric mobility, is certainly well ahead of the curve. Hello, Morell. How are you?
Hey, Miguel. I'm fine. And you?
Very well. Great to have you back here on the podcast. Last time you were here was in 2020, and you had just completed a very important milestone for the, let's say, the electric aviation scene, electric aviation space, which is actually the cross Germany flight. You flew all the way, I think actually from Switzerland. You started in
Correct.
Switzerland, so you ended up in one of the German islands in the North Sea, doing quite a few stops along the way. But the important thing is that you completed the first flight, all electric, across Germany. Big success. And yeah, I thought it was a great idea to have you back here on the podcast because you are preparing new amazing milestones for electric flight. First of all, before we move on to all these very interesting projects you have, could you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, about who you are? I'm sure some of them already listened to the 2020 episode.
If they don't, highly recommend that. It was
Indeed.
a blast. Yeah.
I will add the link to the podcast. You were back then online with Malik Aziz, which was your collaborator in this very interesting cross Germany flight.
Yeah.
But you've been you continued working on the electric aviation space. So tell us a bit about yourself and about what you do and your interest in this sector.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miguel, having me again. Well, my name is Morell. It's my pre-name, Morell Westermann. I'm originally from Germany, but I'm now for more than 20 years in Switzerland. So meanwhile, I'm Swiss as well. I'm in my mid-40s, I would say. And I started flying with the age of 14, so more than 30 years in the air now. But with the, let's say, engine aircraft, the single piston engine aircraft, I started just a couple of years ago as the electric aviation came to the market with the Pipistrel Velis Electro. And as sometimes coincidences are, my home base, my airport in Switzerland, where I fly gliders, Schennis in Switzerland. It's in 50-60 kilometers east of Zurich, was the home base of the first ever electric aircraft in the world. So the first ever electric certified Pipistrel Velis Electro came to Schennis because there was Marco Buchholzer who invented an electric pilot school. So the first ever electric pilot school got the first ever electric aircraft, and I was there for a couple of years already. I know Marco Buchholzer quite well, and then together with Malik and the whole team around the Clean Electric podcast, this crazy idea, setting up world records with the first ever electric aircraft came along, and we did it, as you mentioned already. So we had an amazing time in summer 2020, and as you said correctly, we flew from Schenis more or less directly to Norderney in the north of Germany, just interrupted by 11 charging stops. So it took two overnight stays, and at the end nearly 3 days. So, but we turned the, let's say, disadvantage of short range or short endurance of this electric aircraft into an advantage, because we invited everyone to a electric mobility happening on the airfields we had to recharge. So we had the chance to invite a lot of people, I would say thousands at the end of the project, 1,000 people to at the end 22 charging stops. So it was absolutely amazing, and the overnight stays were a never-ending party as well. So yeah, good memories on that for everyone who would like to get reminded or remember this. Is warmly invited to re-listen the episode in the summer 22. I think you can pull down some links on that. And and the webpage, I will send you links later. The webpage is still online, so who everyone is now interested to what we have done 2 years ago, warmly invited to look up that. I would say the starting point of the electric aviation in Europe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now you've got a very interesting project again, trying to break a new record with electric aircraft. So what can you tell us?
I'm not as good in breaking records and setting records. So setting records is easy. You just need to be the first one. And the challenge is just to make it happen. Like in the project from 2020, it was more or less a logistical challenge. And this project this year will be the same. So I got invited from the aeroFriedrichshafen, and in name the show director of the aeroFriedrichshafen, which is Tobias Brezel. The one or the other of your listeners know him probably. So Tobias reached out to me and said, well, Morell, you are quite good in making noise and attention around this new field of aviation. And it's a very important part of the general aviation in the next couple of years. And 2023, where we record this podcast episode, is the year of electric aviation in the Aero exhibition as well. So last year they had a full hall, the hall number 7, with electric aircraft. So you see already there are a lot of projects, a lot of products, or some products, and a lot of companies are involved in these new type of propulsion systems. And it's really amazing to see how quick the developments now in the world are going on. And 2023 is a year we would like to spread the world even more, to show everyone electric aviation is there. So the project is to get as many electric aircrafts in the air at the same time, to show everyone it's not only one, as 2 years ago we had this first ever Willys. It's not only one, it's already, let's say, on the edge of a mass product. Well, mass product in aviation is always it's defining a mass product, right? I think the most ever built aircraft is the whatever Cessna 17152 something around, with what, say 5,000 something.
No idea. I'll need to check that. Interesting question. Obviously numbers are not the same in electric aircraft now.
That's the point.
But you've managed to gather quite a few, for this flight.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. So with the project from 2020, I got a little bit a name in the electric aviation field, which is absolutely amazing. And I got contacts and communications with so many enthusiasts in the aviation, which is absolutely amazing. And thanks for the support, anyone. And we already got 10 aircrafts on the runway, and I think it will end in a range between 12 and 20. So there are not so many at the end.
But in relative terms, that must be quite a significant portion of the whole electric fleet that there's in Europe at the moment.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I didn't get the number from Pipistrel yet, but I assume it will be around 100 sold Velis aircrafts worldwide, I think. Probably Velis and Alpha Electrics. So it won't be too many above 100, I think.
Yeah,
But we need to check the
globally.
number. Globally, yeah. So, and if we get 20 on one runway together for a mass start, it will be amazing. And this is the reason why we reached out to Guinness World Records. So these guys with the Guinness World Records books, the one or the other got under the Christmas tree this year probably. And so we are setting a Guinness World Record. It is more a PR stunt, right? So the FIE is not very interested in these kind of records. So if it's not higher, far, longer, whatever, then they are not very excited about that. But the Guinness World Record guys are absolutely excited about that. So yes, we think we will have a significant amount of electric aircraft existing in Europe coming together in Sankt Gallen, Altenrhein, which is in northeast of Switzerland. And we will fly to Friedrichshafen. So it will be an A to B flight to make it even a little bit harder for the logistic challenge. And the idea is to get everyone as quick as possible, one after the other, into the air, flying in a loose formation over the Lake of Constance and land in a row of aircrafts in Friedrichshafen at the date of the press opening of the aeroFriedrichshafen, which is the 18th of April 2023. So the official opening of the aeroFriedrichshafen is the day after that, the 19th for the public, but the 18th will be the press conference opening. And we are dreaming of showing them how many aircrafts already existing and that we are able to operate them and they are able to cross a lake and just to fly as every aircraft.
Yeah, a beautiful part of Europe is Lake Constance, the Bodensee. Yeah, you call it in
Bodensee in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the English translation is the Lake Constance, hope so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and actually a historical setting for aviation, because it's in Friedrichshafen where the first airships, I think, were developed and started flying. And this exhibition, the aeroFriedrichshafen, it's one of the largest, I don't know if it's the largest in Europe, but one of the largest for sure for general aviation.
They call themselves the largest exhibition for general aviation in Europe. Yeah, I think so. It is the full area of the exhibition in Friedrichshafen. So 10,000 of visitors every year with a short interruption in the Corona times. But it's coming back.
Yeah, and they have this electric aviation space inside the expo. It's about more things, but there is a specific one which is called, I think, eFlight Expo. That's the one you are referring to. Yeah,
yes.
Can find there pretty much everything about electric aviation. This very emerging field in aviation. What is exactly your involvement in this electric aviation community? Because I think you are quite active in this field. How is the European electric aviation scene at the moment?
Well, I would say we were on the edge of really getting visible in the broader public. So you were asking what I'm doing there in the field of electric aviation. So I would call myself as an ambassador. So I have a part-time job as a business consultant, as a strategic business consulting in a future research company in Switzerland. I'm a professional keynote speaker and telling people about the amazing things in the future. So I'm a futurist. And I think it's even better not only to talk about these trends and technology developments of the future, but if you experience it by yourself, if you really have hands-on these technologies, you are even more credible. And this is why I'm flying these electric aircraft since 2.5 years now by myself. And this gives a lot of experiences, daily use experiences of electric aviations and even the shortcomings. So just a small excursus to the winter operations. So in Switzerland, we have still, I think it will be one of the last years we still have winter, but it will, it's very challenging to have winter operations of the Velis, not only because of snow of the runway. This is easy. Every aircraft faces the same issues, but with the cold temperature. So we had to invent some kind of preheating system for electric aircraft. So preheaters are quite common in the hangars of around the world for internal combustion engines. They are just blowing hot air to the cylinders and preheating the engine, or they are heating the oil sump electrically, so the engine gets to its working temperature quicker. And with the electric aviation, we have the issue with cold batteries. So we invented a hot air blower blowing to the heat exchanger of the Velis to get some heat energy into the battery, so we are able to fly even in cold environments. Because with cold batteries, you probably know it from cars, with a very cold battery you won't get anywhere. So so winter operations is one thing, and we had some software, let's say, developments or issues with incompatibility software versions of the battery BMS systems, the battery management system, and the charger, and back and forwards, but at the end it works. So we are in the early stages of these developments, and I'm so happy to see around the world it's really popping up now. So in Switzerland we have 12 electric aircraft on 10 different home bases with pilot schools there, and they are training the new generation of pilots on these aircraft. In the Netherlands we have a very active e-flight community with the e-flight NL pilot school. They have even a second school location in Bonaire, which is the Caribbean Sea. So it's absolutely amazing for everyone who wants to fly over the Caribbean Sea electric. Reach out to these guys in the Netherlands. And in Germany, some of these Velis are in universities or even in pilot schools. We have in UK these Nebo Air guys. And of course in France. I think France now overtook Switzerland with the biggest fleet of electric aircrafts.
That's because of that big order from, I think there was a startup that was fully devoted to leasing electric aircraft to flight school.
Green Aero Lease, I think.
Yes,
and they ordered, I think, 50 around. Not every of these 50 aircrafts are delivered until today. Well, I think they have 20, 25, 30 something around already in France. So France just overtook Switzerland with the biggest fleet of electric aircraft.
And Scandinavia also has, I think, some operators, some flight schools have opted for electric aircraft. I think there was a big order. I don't remember the name, but there was that flight school in Sweden. I think they placed a big order with Buy Aerospace. To get electric aircraft.
And then here comes we comes to the market, right? So there are so many active companies now announcing products. So Pipistrel is still the only one who is able to deliver a certified product, but there are so many companies out there on the edge of a product. So like Diamond with the EDR40 will be a milestone, because in brackets a 4-seater. I'm not sure how many seats it will be really available then. I think it's a real 3-seater. Even in Switzerland, in a small country like Switzerland, we have several projects going on with the H55, Dufour Aero, the guys from the university in Zurich with the E-Sling. So we have several projects here on the verge of being a product.
And in the Netherlands that you mentioned, I've got the chance to have here on the podcast also a couple of projects that are also exploring different concepts and projects in electric aviation as well, and some of them are pretty well advanced. So like Electron, for example. There's so many things going on. What about the land side? I mean, you mentioned the issue with the batteries and the cold. And what about the charging infrastructure? I remember you mentioned in your flight across Germany, you had to have a support car that was following you along the way by land. And it was carrying batteries so that you could recharge whenever there was available facility to recharge. Is this being addressed, this issue?
It was even 2 teams of electric cars following us, because an aircraft is faster than a car on the road, even in German motorways.
Mm.
It's, an aircraft is faster. No, we weren't carrying batteries. We were carrying the charging system, the charger.
Mhm.
It is just an AC/DC converter, like a fast charger for cars, but this one was with a protocol for aircraft, so it's not compatibly used for cars. It is the same plug, but it's not the same protocol. But at the end, it's electric energy. So don't ask me why they are not making it compatible to cars. Ask the guys from Pipistrel why they've done that. But they promised me as soon there's a standard out there, they will move to the standard. So it shouldn't be a proprietary solution for aircraft at Pipistrel, which is at the moment. So the only
wait a second. So you're telling me that the chargers are not compatible between
No.
cars and okay,
and even not between the aircrafts.
Mm.
So if you want to charge a H55 aircraft, you can't use the Pipistrel charger. So the Pipistrel charger is just working for Pipistrel aircraft at this moment. But Tine from Pipistrel told me, Tine, the CTO from Pipistrel told me, they are not necessarily heading for a proprietary charging solution, but they were the first and they needed to start somewhere. So they started with just what they thought is best. And at the moment, there is a general available protocol standard. They are willing, and they are absolutely willing to retrofit or software update or whatever is needed to make it compatibly to the whatever standard in the industry will come up in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think it will be a challenge, like in the charging. So on my speeches, I always say the electrification of the aviation industry is 10 years behind the cars. So, and if you see how far we come with the cars today, so there is a standard in charging, let's say, charging plugs. This was a nightmare a couple of years ago with Type 1, Type 2, CCS, Chademo, and whatever was on the market. And now we have this Type 2 and CCS charger. So there's a standard now. And with the standard, the charging speeds were faster and faster every year. So we started with, let's say, accelerated charging with 11 or 22 kilowatts of power. Then we came to the quick charge around 50 kilowatts, and now we have the supercharger, which was in the beginning of Tesla's times around 150 kilowatts. Now we have these supercharged, supercharged charging speeds with up to 350 kilowatts. So you see there's a development in speed, in charging speed, together with the development of a standard in plugs. And we will definitely see the same in aviation. So we started 2 years ago with the Pipistrel own charging system, which was 22 kilowatts. At the end, it was 17, but anyway, it was labeled as 22 kilowatts with a Type 2 connector, with not a Type 2 protocol, with something specific Pipistrel protocol. And in the next couple of years, we will see increasing charging speeds. This started already the last couple of months. So the charging speeds for the aviation, for the Eaton charger is now doubled from 20 kilowatts to 40 kilowatts nominal. I don't know how fast it's really charging at the end. I never plugged in the aircraft into these new kind of chargers. And we will see the charging speed increases as well. So if you imagine you have an aviation aircraft, so you probably heard about the end of the year 2022, aviation took flight.
The Alice or however.
The Alice, yeah. Alice Aviation. I don't know how to pronounce that. They flew for whatever, 10 minutes, 2-3 circuits around the airport. And if you imagine you have a Pipistrel charger to charge aviation, it will take years until the next flight. So you need more charging power. And I'm pretty sure they don't use a Type 2 charger plug. There will be something specific. So with different aircrafts, with bigger aircrafts, with more range, more seats, more maximum takeoff weight, we will have different charging systems. So the Pipistrel charger with 20 kilowatts and the Type 2 is only the start. So there will be something different in the future.
How long does it take you to charge your valleys at the moment?
Well, I say always 1 hour of flight and 1 hour of charge, and both is a lie. You fly shorter than an hour and you charge longer than an hour.
Okay.
To be realistic, with a good feeling, you can fly 30 to 45 minutes around an airport. Which is absolutely relaxed. and then you take about 45 to 1 hour and 10 minutes for recharging.
Yeah. So certainly there's scope for improvement there. Huh?
There's room for improvement, and there is already the double speed charger officially announced. I never saw one out in the wild, but it should bring down the charging time to less than 45 minutes, so around 30 to 45 minutes. And then we are in, let's say, pilot schools operations in a very good range.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to basically the development of this industry in Europe, well, in the world in general, but I guess let's speak of Europe. What do you think should happen for it to become a lot more mainstream? Just go beyond the flying schools and have private owners. I don't know what's right now, whether there's any legal or tax incentives to get green electric aircraft, any other factors that can help speed up this adoption.
That's a good question, but let's start with the advantages of electric propulsion systems. There are a lot of disadvantages like range and everything around that, but the advantage is we are able to refuel, in brackets, carbon neutral and renewable. So with power from the PV panels on the hangar, you can recharge your aircraft more or less carbon neutral and very, very cheap. This is very good advantage.
Sorry,
and
that's an important point to touch. So just to give an idea, to put a number here, I know each country and each supplier might have different rates, but how much had it cost you to charge, to do a full charge of a Velis?
So if you think about a 30 to 45 minutes flight and you have a cruise power of about 20 kilowatts, then you consume on such a flight around 17 kilowatt hours. So in Switzerland, let's say it will be 30 Rappen, so it's around 30 euro cents. Then you have around 5 euros for the energy. But this is only the half of the equation. The other half is the use of the battery. So if you think about, let's say roughly the battery will cost about 20,000 Swiss francs or euros, whatever, between 20 and 30. I'm not absolutely sure. Let's assume it will be 20,000 Swiss francs, and let's assume it will have around 1,000 cycles, which is on the good side, I would say. Then you have a cycle cost of about 20 euros. So with 20 euros added with the 5 euros with energy costs, then you're around 25 euros of, let's say, operational costs, flight session, 25 euros energy costs. There are not too many maintenance costs on this aircraft because the water cooling system do not need any maintenance at all, and the motor will last for more or less forever. The ball bearings will be changed whatever 1,000 hours, but there's no maintenance cost like an internal combustion engine we know today. So you have a roughly 25 to 30 euros flight hour costs, which is super, super exciting. It will make aviation cheaper than today.
How does it compare to conventional combustion engine?
Well, now every one of your listeners can calculate by itself. So what is his aircraft is consuming on fuel and maintenance costs. You have to compare that with a small two-seater. I would say it at least half the price or even better. So, but this is only the cost point of view. It is renewable, which is, I think, a game changer. And if you think about Schennis, which is a glider site, we are allowed to operate this propeller aircraft on a glider site only because they are so silent. Okay. They're not as noisy as all the others are. So noise is always an issue with all the aviation fields out there. And these aircraft is nearly inaudible. So it is so less noisy, so much more less noisy than all the others aircrafts operate there. It is not an issue anymore. And this will be true for every electric aircraft. Yes, you have a noise of the propeller. Yes, you have the noise of the airflow flowing around the fuselage, but it's less noisy than all the others aircraft. So noise is a very important thing, and this I would say is the biggest advantage. Besides the fact that you have less energy costs and the energy will be renewable, the limitations until today is absolutely the range and the maximum takeoff weight. So at the moment, and here we go with exactly the same development path that the cars did in the past, more range, cheaper batteries, more power per kilogram, more kilowatt hours per liter of volume of battery volume. So this will be taking off in the next couple of years in a very exciting way. There are so many millions and billions of dollars flowing into the development of batteries now, fueled by the revolution of the electric propulsion systems in cars. We will benefit in the aviation industry from that development. And we calculated the magic line of when an electric aircraft will become power and range equivalent to the known internal combustion engine. And this will be around for four-seater, like a 172 or whatever four-seater aircraft you have in your mind. It's always the same with the power to weight ratio, more or less. So with the 500 watt-hours per kilogram, you are able to build an aircraft very similar to what we know from the two four-seater Cessnas today, very common on every airfield around the world, able to fly for a couple of hours. But we don't need to fly for 4 to 5 hours. Most of the flights, the private flights, are A to A flights. Only a few are A to B. So this really solves the charging infrastructure thing for the first step. And if we have let's say a solid 2 hours range, then you can more or less cover, I would say, 90% of every flight in small aircrafts conducted. So these 500 watt-hours per kilogram, the magic question is when we will have these kind of batteries with an attractive price and cycle stability. And this will come in the next couple of less than 10 years. So in less than 10 years, if the development continues as it did in the last couple of years with the car industry, and then we have power and energy and price equivalent aircraft, small aircrafts, and then we are ready to replace every fuel guzzling and noise creating aircraft on the airfields around the world. The problem with these aircrafts is most of these planes are super old. I would say 30, 40 years is not very exception. So the replacement cycle is very long in the aviation industry, and that will be it will take a little bit longer than on the car side, but the advantages are so dominant. I would say we will see in the next couple of 10 years a very large proportion of electric aircrafts flying around. So they will still, I say, the old-timer section flying around, and people will still enjoy that. So you probably saw there is a retro-looking aircraft just presented last year on the Aero. So I think there will be old aircrafts as well, but all the new aircrafts for pilot trainings will be electric in the next couple of years. Yeah.
And what about the training itself? Because all these flight schools now adopting electric, going electric. How important is this for the formation of the future pilots, and how different is it from a pilot perspective to be trained on an electric aircraft?
Yeah, I will come back to that. But as you trigger my futurist part in me, the better question, or the even more interesting question, is how long do we need pilots in the future? Yeah. but coming back to that later.
Autonomy, it's a big topic. I mean, why not? I mean, people I've been talking about, I've been talking with about this topic, they tell me actually it might be easier to get to autonomy for aircraft than for cars, because there are fewer things to keep control of. So
and even today the machine, the autopilot, is superior in let's say bad weather conditions over the pilot. So there are conditions out there where the pilot is not anymore allowed to fly by hand, but the autopilot is. So auto landing system is. So we are already there today. I think it will need a change in the passengers, let's say, behavior, or the passengers thrust into technology. But this will be a very interesting topic as well. But regarding the operation of an electric aircraft, it is super easy. It is like the FedEx system. It's a one power level system. So you have only one power level where you can just set the power and that's it. So no fuel and mixture and prop and whatever. It's just one power level. So, and even the pre-flight checklist or the pre-departure checklist is super quick. I would say after jumping into the aircraft, less than 5 minutes until departure. So it's super quick. You just need to check the battery state of charge and if the battery power is available, and that's it. So
wouldn't this be an issue if the process is more simple? If someone is training on an electric aircraft and then needs to fly a non-electric aircraft, might have to adapt to a more complex setup. There might be still a few decades before we transition completely.
Well, if you train today driving with an electric car and you jump into an internal combustion engine car with a clutch and everything, then you have to train the clutch things and the gear shifting thing as well. So I think it's not super hard. But for the beginning, everything is overwhelming in the cockpit for someone who's never flown an aircraft before, who's a very beginner of pilot student. He's already overwhelmed with everything going on, and having a less complex and easy to handle aircraft will help them. And if you are able to fly and if you are able to process all these crazy stuffs going on, then you can add step by step the, let's say, old school engine operating things as well. So yeah, I think for the beginning is a very good start. Makes quick progress in learning how to fly and not overwhelming. And the most important thing is, especially in the early steps of your pilot career, you take a long time going through the pre-flight checklist and everything. So if you have a classic, or let's say an internal combustion powered aircraft, then it generates noise standing on the apron, going through a checklist, and you don't move in anyway. So it's just generating noise and eating fuel for nothing. And this is a game changer with an electric aircraft. If you don't use the power level, then it's silent. Then it's the prop is still, it's silent. You don't use any energy, and you can go to your checklist how long you ever look like. So yeah. It is a different in operation, and for the tower guys, it's a little bit surprising. I had this experience once. The power asked if everything is okay, or my engine quit because I was going through my departure checklist and the prop was standing still, and he looked out of his tower and said, well, prop is standing still, some issue. No, it's an electric aircraft, so we don't need to rotate the propeller if you go through checklist. So this this was very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. It's completely different type of habits and ways of doing things. Just as in the car industry, as you know well, since you've been a long time user of electric cars. So what's the time horizon you see for electric flight adoption? Do you have any like framework?
Don't nail me on years and numbers, but
Okay.
it's always walk. If you look into the future, we don't have a glass ball. We can see exactly the date and whatever. So, but there will be a scenario which is most likely in the future. And the first thing is the electrification of the aviation industry will start with small and light and super efficient aircraft, as we see already.
Yeah.
It will then move along to a little bit bigger aircrafts, four-seaters, and we see them on the horizon already. I mentioned the Diamond E DR40 already, will be on display on the aeroFriedrichshafen again, but not flying. So if you think about Pipistrel with the Pantera, which is a super efficient and nice looking aircraft, four-seater, imagine this one will be electric ones in the future. Then you have really a breakthrough of small travel airplanes. This opens the operational space for private aviation, as we do it today in the DA40, DA62 or whatever. It will directly go into the electric aviation field because of the cheaper costs, the lower noise, and the bigger exception of, let's say, night flying in small aircraft and airports. So it will start small and light, will go a little bit to four-seater and a little bit longer distances, but it will not. We don't see, well, myself, I don't see a retrofit very working well in old aircraft. So you can think about, well, we have hundreds of old aircrafts out there. just replace the engine with the electric motor and the battery system. This won't probably work because these old aircrafts are developed in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and with the efficiency of the 50s and 60s in mind, this probably won't work very well. So you need super efficient aircrafts, more looking like a glider or even a touring motor glider than the conventional aircraft, as you can see in the aviation. And this will be the next very, very interesting thing. When will the 9, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 seaters out there, the commuter aircrafts?
Yeah.
And this will be very interesting. And if you look on the web pages of all these various companies working on that, they see it in less than 10 years. So I think it's a little bit on the proactive side, or let's say the optimistic side, because it will be technical ready in less than 10 years. Yes, but if it will be certified, it's a different part of the story. So but I think in the next couple of 10 years, 7 to 10 years, we will see an amazing new field of aviation, less noisy, less fuel consuming, carbon neutral, regenerative powered, and not necessarily battery electric, but electric powered. So this comes back to the, will be there any hydrogen fuel systems? A lot of companies working on that, but the technical issues with the fuel cell and the storage of liquid hydrogen or even cryogenic hydrogen in an aircraft is a challenge we need to overcome in the next couple of years.
Yeah, indeed. So for people that wish to see this for real and come to aeroFriedrichshafen to see it, that's going to be just a reminder. It's going to be on the 18th of April.
Yes, the day before the official opening, yeah.
So where is the best way to see this? I guess it's when you arrive at Friedrichshafen. When is the scheduled time?
I think the best way to attend on this is flying with us.
Okay.
Bring an electric aircraft, fly with us, bring as many aircrafts you have, which is electric powered. I know there are a lot of aircraft in France. It's just a logistical challenge. It's not the issue with the aircraft anymore, like 2 years ago where we had only one. Yeah, and I think it will be both.
What people should do if they want to join you?
Come to Sankt Gallen for the start. I think it will be a super impressive view on 20 aircrafts lined up together on the runway 27 in Sankt Gallen, departing one after the other, or even two at the same time, a couple of seconds apart, flying in loose formation to Friedrichshafen. I think the bigger party, sorry, Sankt Gallen to say that, but I think the bigger party will be then in Friedrichshafen with the press guys over there and the official opening. But I think we will have a party in Sankt Gallen as well.
Is there a process, like a formal process to join this event? If someone has a plane or a few planes and wish to take part, or should they write to you, or what's
reach out to me. We will set the link in your episode to the project page from aeroFriedrichshafen. Just today, Kalin Gologan with his Electra Aero, this yellow electric aircraft, which is his second worldwide certified since a couple of days, reached out to me today and confirmed his attendance on this project. So it's super stoked that Kalin will fly his electric aircraft, this yellow one, together. And he was joking like, so we can fly 5 times back and forward with one battery charge. So we have plenty of endurance left. Should we offer a shuttle service? I said, well, very good idea. Let's think about that. So there are crazy ideas around that. We will have some other aircraft with an FES system, so the gliders with the electric power systems, hoping for the H55 and the Esling guys from Zurich. So it will be dominated by Pipistrel Velis Electro aircraft for sure, because the only product on the market available. But we will hopefully have some other aircraft as well, gliders, touring motor gliders, and even the Electro Solar.
So yeah, I'm going to be posting links to this event, of course, and also to the previous episode we did together when you broke that record across Germany.
We are setting records.
Yeah, you set the record, true.
So this record, even it's not really official, somewhere noted, this record is already broken by some Australian guys. They flew across Australia a couple of weeks, months later, but I think they booked only half of the fun, because they made what you said earlier. They're not only transporting the chargers by car, but the generator as well. But in the Outback, I think it's okay. In the Outback, you don't have any grid power, so you need off-grid power, and they had a diesel or whatever benzene charger or generator, and then charge the aircraft in the red desert out of Australia. So yes, they took only half of the challenge by getting to grid power, but I think it's totally different story in Australia, and they flew farther than we did. I think in more days at the end, but at the end the distance was greater than ours. So if you speak about breaking records, the guys already did, but I'm more than happy to admit to them, because it's all about spreading the world. It's all about telling people that electric aviation is there and it's possible. So I don't mind if anyone is flying faster, higher, quicker, whatever than we did.
Great. So yeah, I think that's the perfect ending for this, again, a fascinating episode of the podcast. And just to wrap it up, for people that wish to contact you for any of these projects in electric aviation, what's the best way to reach out to you?
LinkedIn is very good. I'm quite active in Twitter, and I will post my own webpage. You can book me as a speaker, as a motivational speaker, and some futuristic topics. And I would say explaining a little bit the future, or explaining the technology we see on the horizon will influence our future, because nothing is bad if you know it in advance. So you don't need to fear anything if you understand and know what's coming. And my goal is to help people to see things on the horizon, embrace technologies, and don't fear it. So it is always a chance as well. So if you think about the automotive industry, they tried to break down and deaccelerate the development of electric cars, and they did very bad on that. So embracing and taking the chances, if you see how quickly Tesla emerged in the market, and the growth rates every year of this new technology is absolutely amazing. And if we talk to people like pilots and everyone on the airfield, said, wow, with these small aircraft and small range and makes no sense. Yes, today it's a very limited, let's say, useful window of operation today. But ask me in 7 years ago again, and then really the world changed. So embrace the new technologies and look very curious on that and see the chances. And if you want to get some support and some inspiration on that, reach out to me. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Excellent. If you don't mind, I'm gonna then be posting a link to your LinkedIn profile so that people can reach out directly. Well, thanks so much, Morell, for this very fascinating chat today, and I'll be looking forward to hearing about the developments of your next projects, your next milestones, and of course this next record-setting attempt.
Yes, right. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure with you, Miguel, and thanks for your engagement in the aviation industry, spreading the word. You have on your own webpage an own green flying section already. So it is really a thing, and we need to tell even more people in which direction it will go. And the electric aviation industry needs to change something. So we are one of the, let's say emitters of carbon CO2, and we need to change that. And we even need to bring renewable power to the airfield. So there are a lot of things to do. And thanks for having me in the show, Miguel, and thanks for your activities in the green aviation area. It's very important to do that.
A pleasure. Thank you very much, Morell. Before you go, and if you like this podcast, a quick reminder that it would be absolutely great if you could please give it a rating on Apple, Spotify, or whichever platform you're using, or recommend it to a friend or whomever might be interested. Thank you very much, and see you soon.